Welcome to the Israeli housing market, where logic goes to die and your bank account follows shortly after. Making Aliyah involves navigating Israel's exceptionally complex and stratified housing market, which operates on principles that would make a quantum physicist weep and a mathematician question their life choices. Here, microscopic location differences can create dramatic price variations that often surprise newcomers accustomed to more uniform pricing structures, like the quaint notion that similar apartments in the same neighborhood should cost roughly the same amount. In Israel, this adorable concept is about as relevant as snow boots in August. Within major cities, the concept of good versus bad streets can mean price differences of 30 to 50% between adjacent blocks, because apparently Israeli real estate operates on the same principles as Hollywood celebrity neighborhoods, except with more falafel stands and significantly more honking. These price variations are based on factors like traffic noise, Israel invented the car horn symphony, commercial activity, do you want to live, above a shawarma shop that operates until 3 a.m., proximity to schools or synagogues, depending on whether you consider the sounds of children or prayers more soothing, and even historical neighborhood reputation. Some areas are still paying real estate prices for things that happened in 1967. In Tel Aviv, for example, an apartment on tree-lined Chen Boulevard might cost 40% more than an identical unit 2 blocks away on busy Dizengoff Street, because apparently trees are worth their weight in gold and peace and quiet costs extra in a country where quiet is a theoretical concept. The city's micro-neighborhoods each carry distinct characteristics that real estate agents will explain to you with the enthusiasm of tour guides describing ancient archaeological sites. South Tel Aviv areas like Neve Sha'anan offer significantly lower prices but come with urban challenges. Translation: it's authentic and gritty. While northern neighborhoods like Ramat Aviv provide suburban tranquility at premium costs. Translation: you'll pay luxury prices for the privilege of commuting to everywhere else. Even within prestigious areas, specific streets matter enormously, like choosing the right seat at a wedding. Location is everything, and someone is always going to judge your choice. Rothschild Boulevard commands top prices for its historic significance and central location, plus the Instagram potential of your morning coffee. Photos. While parallel streets like Mazeh or Nahalat Binyamin offer similar accessibility at 20 to 30% lower costs, because apparently being 1 block away from famous counts as being in the suburbs, according to Israeli real estate mathematics. Jerusalem's housing market reflects the city's unique religious, cultural, and political complexity, creating distinct submarkets that operate almost independently, like separate countries that happen to share the same municipal garbage collection. The German colony, Rehavia, and Katamon neighborhoods represent the high-end secular market, with prices comparable to central Tel Aviv and the added bonus of historical significance that you can mention at dinner parties. Religious neighborhoods like Mea Shearim or Geulah offer different value propositions focused on community proximity and religious infrastructure, where your biggest concern will be whether your apartment is within walking distance of 17 different minyanim and whether the local grocery store stocks enough gefilte fish for Shabbat. East Jerusalem areas present complicated legal and social considerations that significantly impact both pricing and long-term investment security, requiring the kind of legal research typically reserved for international diplomacy or PhD dissertations. Newer neighborhoods like Pisgat Ze'ev, Gilo, or Ramot were built as more affordable options but require careful consideration of transportation access, as commuting to central Jerusalem can add significant time and expense to daily life, plus the character-building experience of Israeli public transportation during rush hour. The light rail system and planned expansions have already begun affecting property values along proposed routes, creating investment opportunities for those willing to anticipate infrastructure development and place bets on government project completion timelines. May the odds be ever in your favor. Regional housing markets outside major cities offer dramatically different value propositions that new olim often overlook while focusing on familiar metropolitan areas. probably because no one told them that cities like Beersheba, Haifa, Netanya, or Ashdod exist and provide substantially more space and lower costs while maintaining reasonable access to employment centers and cultural amenities. It's like discovering there's a whole other Israel beyond Tel Aviv and Jerusalem, complete with actual parking spaces and apartments large enough to fit a dining room table. Development towns like Kiryat Gat, Yokneam, or Ma'alot offer government incentives for new residents, including reduced municipal taxes, employment assistance, and sometimes direct housing subsidies, because the government understands that living in these places requires financial motivation. Moshavim and kibbutzim increasingly offer housing options for non-members, providing rural lifestyle opportunities at moderate costs where your biggest excitement might be the weekly arrival of the grocery delivery truck, though often requiring cars for transportation and potentially limiting employment options to things like agricultural consultant or cow whisperer. Northern regions near the Lebanese border and southern areas near Gaza receive additional government support and security considerations that affect both pricing and daily life decisions, adding a unique dimension to the phrase location, location, location that most real estate markets don't typically include. Floor-level pricing reflects practical Israeli lifestyle considerations that extend beyond simple preference to actual livability factors. Because in Israel, choosing your floor is like choosing your character in a video game. Each level comes with its own special challenges and power-ups. Ground floor apartments, while cheapest, present security concerns that many Israelis take seriously, particularly in areas with higher crime rates or security tensions, requiring additional investments in window bars, security doors, or alarm systems that can add thousands of shekels to initial setup costs. Essentially, you're paying less upfront but more later to turn your home into a fortress, which is very Israeli when you think about it. First floors offer compromise solutions but may still experience noise from street activity, delivery trucks, and pedestrian traffic, particularly problematic in commercial areas or near schools and synagogues during busy periods when the street sounds like a combination of rush hour traffic and a very enthusiastic religious festival. Second and third floors typically provide optimal combinations of accessibility and tranquility, commanding premium prices especially in buildings without elevators, which remain common in older Israeli construction because apparently the concept of vertical transportation was considered optional during certain construction periods. Mid-level floors, 4th through 6th, often represent peak pricing in elevator buildings, offering excellent natural light, reduced street noise, and optimal views without the structural concerns of top floors, assuming the elevator actually works consistently, which is a bigger assumption than you might think. However, elevator reliability becomes crucial for daily convenience, and buildings with frequently broken elevators can see dramatic price reductions as residents tire of stair climbing and develop the leg muscles of professional athletes. Top floors present complex value calculations depending on roof access rights, which can provide valuable private outdoor space in a country where such amenities are rare and expensive, though you might have to fight your neighbors for the privilege of hanging laundry or hosting barbecues on what was supposed to be your roof. Penthouse units with full roof access can command enormous premiums, sometimes doubling the per square meter price of lower floors in the same building. But buyers must consider structural integrity, waterproofing issues, and potential building committee disputes over roof usage rights that can make Game of Thrones politics look straightforward. Building age and condition create layered considerations that significantly impact both immediate living quality and long-term financial implications, requiring the investigative skills of a detective and the patience of a saint to properly evaluate. Pre-1948 buildings, particularly in historic areas of Tel Aviv and Jerusalem, often feature superior construction quality and architectural character, but may lack modern conveniences like central air conditioning infrastructure, adequate electrical systems for contemporary appliances, or parking facilities, because back then people apparently didn't need to keep their food cold or plug in more than one device at a time. Buildings from the 1950s to 1970s, representing much of Israel's rapid construction period, frequently require significant structural updates and may have been built before modern seismic standards, creating both immediate safety concerns and potential future renovation obligations that can be extremely expensive when coordinated building-wide and requiring the kind of neighbor cooperation typically seen only in wartime or natural disasters. Tama 38 projects, Israel's national outline plan for strengthening buildings against earthquakes, have become crucial factors in property evaluation and pricing that require understanding more acronyms and government programs than most people learn in graduate school. Buildings that have completed Tama 38 renovations often see 20 to 40% price increases due to improved safety, additional square footage through balcony enclosures or new construction, and updated infrastructure including elevators, parking, and modern utilities. However, buildings in the middle of Tama 38 processes can present both opportunities and risks. Potential buyers might access lower prices during construction disruption, but must carefully evaluate contractor reliability, project timelines, and their own tolerance for extended construction noise and inconvenience that can make living through a home renovation look like a peaceful spa retreat. The Vad Bayit Building Committee system represents a uniquely Israeli institution that dramatically affects property values and living quality in ways that newcomers often underestimate. Operating like a micro-government with all the political drama and bureaucratic efficiency you'd expect from Israeli politics condensed into your apartment building. Active, well-organized building committees maintain common areas, coordinate repairs, manage finances transparently, and resolve neighbor disputes effectively, creating more pleasant living environments and protecting property values while occasionally achieving the impossible task of getting Israelis to agree on something. Buildings with dysfunctional or non-existent Vad Bayit often deteriorate rapidly, developing problems like broken elevators, poor cleaning, delayed repairs, and neighbor conflicts that can make daily life frustrating and property resale difficult, basically turning your home into a reality TV show where everyone loses. Monthly Vad Bayit fees vary significantly based on building amenities, maintenance needs, and committee efficiency, ranging from a few hundred shekels monthly for basic buildings to over 1,000 shekels for buildings with extensive amenities like pools, gardens, or security services, because apparently living somewhere nice requires paying extra fees on top of your already enormous mortgage. If navigating all these building politics and fee structures sounds overwhelming, an easy Aliyah boutique concierge service can help you decode building committee dynamics and avoid the apartments where neighbor disputes have reached epic proportions. Individual apartment conditions require sophisticated evaluation that goes far beyond surface aesthetics to include infrastructure, efficiency, and hidden maintenance needs that can turn your dream home into a money pit faster than you can say. Surprise plumbing problems. Kitchen and bathroom conditions particularly impact both daily life quality and renovation costs, as these rooms require specialized plumbing, electrical, and ventilation work that can be extremely expensive in Israeli construction markets, where labor costs more than imported European cheese and takes about as long to schedule. Original parquet floors, common in older Israeli apartments, can be beautiful when maintained, but expensive to refinish or replace, requiring the kind of care typically reserved for historic artifacts or very expensive musical instruments. Window quality affects both energy efficiency and noise reduction. Older aluminum windows provide poor insulation and sound control, perfect for enjoying your neighbor's 6 a.m. phone conversations. While newer vinyl or wood windows with double glazing can dramatically improve comfort and reduce utility costs, while muffling the sounds of Israeli street life to manageable levels. Air conditioning infrastructure varies enormously between properties and represents a significant ongoing expense in Israel's climate, where summer lasts approximately 9 months and mild weather is a myth people tell tourists. Apartments with central air conditioning systems or pre-installed infrastructure for individual room units offer convenience but may require expensive maintenance or replacement that can cost more than some people's cars. Properties without adequate electrical infrastructure for air conditioning may require costly electrical upgrades before installation is possible, because apparently some buildings were constructed under the assumption that people enjoy sweating indoors. Solar water heating systems, standard in Israeli construction, require regular maintenance and occasional replacement that can cost several thousand shekels, while newer buildings may include more efficient systems that reduce ongoing costs and the frequency of cold showers that build character but destroy morning routines. Storage space remains at a premium throughout Israeli housing, making built-in closets, pantries, and storage rooms valuable amenities that significantly affect property pricing, because in Israel, having enough space to store your winter clothes is considered a luxury amenity worthy of premium pricing. Many older apartments lack adequate storage, requiring additional furniture purchases or creative solutions that can reduce living space efficiency and turn your home into a real-life game of Tetris, where everything must fit perfectly or nothing fits at all. Parking presents another crucial consideration, as many older buildings lack designated parking spaces, forcing residents to navigate street parking challenges that require the strategic thinking of a chess grandmaster and the patience of a meditation expert. Purchase separate parking spaces for prices that could fund small vacations or rely entirely on public transportation and the Israeli definition of on time. The rent versus buy decision for New Olim involves layers of complexity beyond typical real estate calculations, starting with immediate practical considerations and extending to long-term integration strategies that would challenge professional financial planners and require the decision-making skills of a United Nations diplomat. Renting provides crucial flexibility during the initial adjustment period when new immigrants are still discovering their preferred locations, transportation needs, work situations, and social communities. Plus, figuring out basic life skills like where to buy toilet paper and whether the local grocery store actually stocks the foods you recognize. Many Olim find their initial location preferences change dramatically once they better understand Israeli geography, culture, and lifestyle options, like discovering that living next to a synagogue means very early morning prayers, or that close to the beach doesn't automatically mean affordable or quiet. Rental markets vary significantly between cities and neighborhoods, with some areas offering abundant options while others, particularly in desirable locations or smaller communities, may have limited availability, requiring advanced planning and potentially temporary housing arrangements that can make hotel living look appealing. Israeli rental agreements typically follow standard formats, but include cultural and legal elements that differ from other countries' systems in ways that require translation services and possibly therapy. Most landlords require first month's rent, last month's rent, and a security deposit equivalent to 1 month's rent, along with guarantor requirements that can challenge new immigrants without established local relationships or credit histories, basically requiring you to find someone willing to promise they'll pay your rent if you disappear, which is a big ask when you've been in the country for approximately 5 minutes. Some landlords accept bank guarantees or increase deposits in lieu of personal guarantors, but these arrangements often increase upfront costs to levels that make buying furniture look economical. Rental agreements typically run for annual terms with automatic renewal options, and rent increases are legally limited to annual adjustments based on cost of living indices, providing some protection against sudden price changes while ensuring your rent will increase as reliably as Israeli summer temperatures. Property purchase for New Olim offers significant long-term advantages, but requires navigating complex financial, legal, and bureaucratic processes while making major financial commitments during potentially unstable income periods, basically combining the stress of international relocation with the joy of major financial decisions and the bureaucracy of Israeli government offices. Israeli purchase tax, mas rechisha rates vary based on property value, buyer status, and intended use, with New Olim receiving substantial discounts during their first years of residency that expire faster than milk in an Israeli summer, creating pressure to make property decisions before tax advantages disappear. First-time buyers receive additional tax benefits, and combining new immigrant status with first-time buyer benefits can result in substantial savings on property acquisition costs, assuming you can navigate the paperwork requirements without losing your mind or your documents in the process. However, these benefits typically expire after specific time periods, creating pressure to make property decisions before tax advantages disappear, like morning parking spaces in Tel Aviv. Israeli mortgage systems offer specialized programs for New Olim, but obtaining financing requires understanding local banking practices, documentation requirements, and credit evaluation systems that differ significantly from other countries in ways that make tax preparation look straightforward. Banks typically require 25 to 50% down payments, particularly for new immigrants without established local credit histories, though some institutions offer reduced down payment programs for qualified olim who can prove they're financially responsible despite having zero Israeli credit history and employment that started last week. Employment verification, income documentation, and bank relationship history all factor into mortgage approval processes, often requiring several months of local employment and banking history before optimal terms become available, because apparently banks need to observe you paying bills and not spending all your money on hummus before they trust you with a mortgage. Currency exchange considerations add another layer of complexity to property purchase decisions, as many new olim maintain assets in foreign currencies while taking on debt and expenses in shekels, creating exchange rate roulette that can make gambling look like a conservative investment strategy. Exchange rate fluctuations can significantly impact the real cost of property purchases, mortgage payments, and ongoing living expenses, particularly for those maintaining income sources outside Israel who discover that international finance involves more variables than advanced calculus. Some financial institutions offer foreign currency mortgages or hedging options, but these products carry their own risks and costs that require careful evaluation and possibly consulting a financial advisor who understands both international currency markets and Israeli bureaucracy. Property maintenance costs in Israel often exceed expectations for new immigrants, particularly those from countries with different construction standards, climate conditions, or service pricing structures where calling a repairman doesn't require a second mortgage. Annual maintenance can include air conditioning servicing, essential for survival, solar water heater maintenance, essential for hot showers, pest control, essential for sanity, building maintenance fees, essential for functioning elevators, municipal property taxes called arnona, essential for not getting angry letters from the city, and periodic renovations required by Israeli building standards or wear from the country's intense climate that can age buildings faster than politicians' promises. Arnona rates vary dramatically between municipalities and property types, with some cities offering reduced rates for new immigrants during initial settlement periods, while others seem to believe that property taxes should fund small countries. The Israeli real estate market's seasonal patterns and economic cycles create timing considerations that can significantly impact both rental and purchase decisions, requiring the forecasting abilities of professional meteorologists and the patience of people who enjoy waiting in Israeli government offices. Summer months typically see increased activity and higher prices as families prefer moving during school vacations when children can experience the joy of changing schools along with changing homes, while winter months may offer better negotiating positions but fewer available properties and the added excitement of apartment hunting during Israeli rain season. Economic conditions, interest rate changes, and government policies regularly influence market dynamics, sometimes creating opportunities for informed buyers or sudden price increases that affect affordability calculations and can turn budget planning into creative writing exercises. Government assistance programs for new olim extend beyond tax benefits to include various housing support initiatives that can substantially impact affordability calculations, assuming you can navigate the application processes without developing stress-related medical conditions. Salklita absorption basket payments provide initial financial support that might cover approximately half of your first month's expenses if you're very careful, while specific programs offer rental assistance, mortgage support, or direct housing subsidies in designated development areas where the government actively encourages people to live by offering financial incentives and crossing their fingers. Professional retraining programs, Hebrew language study support, and employment assistance can indirectly affect housing affordability by improving income potential and reducing career transition periods that often accompany immigration and can make budgeting feel like theoretical mathematics. Community considerations play crucial roles in housing decisions that extend far beyond financial calculations to include social integration, religious observance, educational opportunities, and cultural comfort levels that can affect everything from your daily happiness to your children's social lives. Neighborhoods with established Anglo populations may offer easier initial integration and the comfort of hearing English in the grocery store, but potentially slower Hebrew language development and Israeli cultural adaptation that can keep you in the expat bubble longer than advisable. Religious neighborhoods provide strong community support and appropriate amenities for observant families, but may limit lifestyle flexibility or future resale markets to people who share your religious observance level and dietary restrictions. Secular areas offer broader cultural options and the freedom to eat non-kosher pizza in public, but may lack the tight community networks that ease immigration challenges and provide babysitting recommendations. Transportation infrastructure significantly impacts both daily convenience and property values, with Israel's improving public transit systems gradually changing traditional location preferences and making some previously remote areas accessible to people who don't want to own cars in a country where parking costs more than some people's rent. Areas near train stations, central bus stations, or major highway access points command premium prices and offer lifestyle advantages, particularly for commuters to Tel Aviv or other employment centers who want to arrive at work without the character-building experience of Israeli highway driving during rush hour. However, transportation development plans continue evolving, and areas currently considered peripheral may benefit from future infrastructure improvements that enhance both convenience and property values, assuming government construction projects finish on schedule and within budget, which requires more optimism than most people possess. If all these considerations feel overwhelming, an easy Aliyah boutique concierge service can help navigate the housing market complexity while you focus on more important things like learning Hebrew and figuring out where to buy familiar breakfast cereal. Welcome to Israeli real estate, where every decision is complicated, everything costs more than expected, and somehow millions of people still manage to find homes and live happily ever after.